The light of the twin moons poured through the broken stained glass window of the chapel, painting fragmented colors across the dust-laden air. Rowan adjusted the leather strap across his shoulder, his pulse loud in his ears as he stepped inside. The silence was not comforting, it pressed against him like a held breath, waiting to exhale. She was already there. Aurelia sat beneath the altar, her silver hair cascading over her shoulders like spun starlight. Her gown, once ceremonial white, was now tattered and stained with soot. She didn't look up as he entered, but she spoke, her voice cracking like brittle paper. "You came." Rowan nodded, stepping closer. "I had to." Aurelia finally turned her gaze on him, and he was struck again by the strange beauty of her eyes. One violet, the other golden, glowing faintly in the dark. They marked her as a seer, one of the last remaining after the purge. "I thought they killed you," he said softly, kneeling beside her. "I thought they killed you," she replied, voice trembling. There was a pause, a breathless moment where memory and regret crowded between them. She reached out and touched his arm, her fingers cold. "Rowan, I need you to do something. Something I can't do myself." He stiffened. "Anything." She looked away for a second, gathering something in herself, then met his eyes again. "Take it off." His brow furrowed. "What?" Aurelia leaned forward, and with shaking fingers, pulled aside the neckline of her dress, revealing her collarbone and the gleam of something metallic embedded in her skin. Rowan's breath caught. It wasn't a tattoo. It wasn't a piece of jewelry. It was the seal. A relic of ancient biotech, forged in a forgotten era and now used by the Dominion to enslave anyone with abilities beyond human comprehension. Once implanted, it bound a person's power, their thoughts, even their emotions. Seers were especially vulnerable to it. And the only way to remove it. "No," Rowan whispered. "No, Aurelia. That's not something I can do. If I try to take it off, it'll kill you." "It will kill me if you don't," she replied, her voice urgent now. "The Dominion knows I escaped. They'll find me. And when they do, they'll use me. Again." She grabbed his hands and placed them on either side of her throat, just below the edge of the embedded seal. Her skin was ice cold, her pulse fluttering beneath his fingertips. "You have steady hands," she whispered. "You always did. I trust you." Rowan's hands trembled in hers. "It's fused to your spine. If I cut too deep." "I'm not afraid." He was. The last time he had seen this tech up close was when he'd tried to save his brother. Tried, and failed. The memory of Kieran's body convulsing, smoke rising from his mouth, his eyes turning to glass. "I can't," Rowan said. "Aurelia, I can't lose you." She looked at him with infinite softness. "You won't. I'm already lost, Rowan, if you don't do this." He drew in a shaky breath and opened his satchel. Inside was a surgical knife, polished and sharp, its edge glowing with a faint blue light. He had never wanted to use it again. She tilted her head slightly, exposing the embedded seal. It pulsed with faint, ominous light, like a sleeping serpent, sensing the approach of danger. Rowan activated the blade. And the chapel filled with the eerie hum of ancient technology. Scene 2, The Past Returns. As he worked, Rowan's mind drifted to years ago, when they were both young apprentices at the Citadel. Back when Aurelia used to laugh, before the Seers were betrayed and hunted. Back before the Empire decided knowledge was dangerous. They had kissed once, beneath an eclipse, sharing a truth neither of them could afford to speak aloud. She had warned him then, "I see a future where we both bleed." He never forgot it. But here they were, bleeding in different ways. The knife moved slowly, precisely. Aurelia didn't scream, but her breathing turned ragged. Beads of sweat slid down her brow, and her hands clutched the stone beneath her. One wrong angle. 1 millimeter too deep. The seal would activate and destroy the synapses in her brain. She would die before she could even cry out. "I'm halfway," Rowan whispered. Aurelia didn't respond. Her body was shivering, her teeth clenched. "You're doing fine. Just hold on." Then, click. The seal shimmered violently beneath the blade, sending out a wave of heat and pressure. Rowan nearly dropped the scalpel. Aurelia arched her back, gasping. "I hit a trigger," he said, horrified. "Keep going," she rasped. "Don't stop." He recentered himself, adjusted the blade. His hands were slick with sweat, but his mind was locked in now. A meditative focus. Just as Master Dallin had taught him before the fall. 3 more incisions. A final twist of the blade. And then, a crack like glass breaking underfoot. The seal split in 2. Aurelia collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Scene 3, The Awakening. Rowan held her as the remnants of the seal disintegrated, its dark technology curling into ash. Then came the light. Aurelia's body pulsed with energy, raw, radiant power flowing back into her. Her eyes flared, one violet, one gold, so bright they lit the entire chapel. For a terrifying moment, she convulsed again. Her back arched, mouth open in a silent scream as years of pain, control, and suppression were burned away. And then, silence. She fell limp against him. Rowan touched her cheek gently. "Aurelia." She stirred. Then slowly, she smiled. "I can feel everything again." He let out a breath he didn't know he was holding and pulled her into a tight embrace. "I thought I lost you," he whispered. "You brought me back." Scene 4, Reprieve and Revelation. Hours passed. Dawn crept through the ruins, painting the pews in soft gold. They sat together beneath the shattered window, Aurelia resting her head against his shoulder. "I remember everything," she said softly. "All the visions I'd locked away. The futures. The warnings. Anything useful." She hesitated. "There's one where we fight back. Where we win." Rowan raised a brow. "That's a first." "But it's not a straight path," she added. "There's pain. Sacrifice. You'll have to choose between vengeance and hope." He stared at her, then chuckled bitterly. "Sounds like me." She smiled faintly. "And, there's a future where we grow old. Together." Rowan turned to her. "And what do I have to choose for that to happen?" "You already did," she whispered. Final scene. The storm approaches. As they exited the chapel, wind sweeping through the skeletal remains of the once sacred place, they saw the black ships approaching on the horizon, Dominion hunters. Aurelia stood tall, her gown fluttering like wings. "They think I'm still bound," she said, cracking her knuckles. "Let's give them a surprise." Rowan grinned, drawing the ancient blade at his side. "For the record," he said, "next time you say take it off, try not to scare me into a heart attack." She laughed, the sound rich and free. Then, together, they stepped into the light. And into the fight for everything.